rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next, we have public participation and recognition of Wirtz Award for Excellence in Education recipient, and Cheryl McInerney, so to speak.
Hello, I'm Cheryl Knapp, and I am with the Dekalb Education Foundation, and I am on the Wirtz Committee that selects our recipient for the Wirtz Award. Tonight we will be presenting our 33rd award from this foundation. Each year the Wirtz Foundation presents the Wirtz Award for Excellence in Education. The Wirtz Award was established in 1989 to honor the memory of the Wirtz family, William, Alpha, and Jean, all of whom were educators in Dekalb. Then in 1988, Marion Conde contacted the Wirtz family and raised money to set aside for staff recognition through the Dekalb Education Foundation. She passed away in 2007. The Wirtz Award is intended to encourage those high standards of innovative achievement that brings quality to a public school system and vitality to a community. It is made available annually to recognize the distinguished service of outstanding individuals who raise young people's sights or promote a program or organization that lifts students' sense of human values and purpose. Selection of the Wirtz Award was made from persons nominated by District 428 staff and was based upon the nominee's ability to positively influence, motivate, and inspire students. Wirtz committee members are Dr. Norman Stahl, Ms. Connie Roman, Billy M., Mary Lynn Buckner, Tim Vincent, Jenny Hubert, Pam Pickens, and myself. The 2017 nominees for the Wirtz Award for Excellence in Education, please come up when your name is called. First, Kate Cardella, kindergarten teacher at Tyler Elementary. Jackie Pringle, secretary at Little John. Billy, would you mind taking her start, please? And Carol Vest, special education teacher at Clint Rosa. And now it is my honor to present the 2017 Wirtz Award recipient, Lisa Lenz, special education educator at Brooks Elementary School.
Well, I'm Brad Hawk. I'm the interim superintendent here in Dekalb. It's been a privilege to serve your school district during this year. It is a real privilege to recognize staff that have been dedicated and have been here for 20 years serving the good of students and the community. We'd like to recognize these 20-year recipients. First of all, Rachel Happ, bookkeeper at DHS. Next, Ellen Kress, fourth grade. John Murray, science teacher, Clinton Rosette Middle School. April Ramey, third grade teacher at Lincoln. Paul Schmidt, middle math teacher at HMS.
Congratulations.
Chuck Schramm, PE teacher at Dekalb High School.
You got the L and the S and the T and everything.
Next, Michael Wolf, business teacher at Dekalb High School. Next, Brent McIntosh, science teacher at Dekalb. Next, Sabrina Richmond, office professional at Cortland. And finally, Nancy Epler, instructional assistant at ELCD. Let's give all of our 20-year recipients a nice round of applause. Thank you for your dedication. This one is always mixed feelings. The retirees, dedicated to the Dekalb School District for a lot of years, you are going to be missed. Your legacy will live on and on. So we would like to recognize you, and we're going to begin with Jana Hunt, District Elementary Art Teacher. Next, Andrea Gorla, Assistant Superintendent of Business and Finance. I don't think she could make it tonight, but April Ramey, elementary classroom teacher at Lincoln. Is April here? Next is Camille Marta, elementary classroom teacher in Portland. Next, Jean Searles, elementary classroom teacher at Lincoln. Next is Colleen Schrader, elementary classroom teacher at Little John. Next is Nancy Carnahan Miosi, and she is elementary classroom teacher at Brook. Next, John Cordes, high school teacher, driver's ed, Dekalb High School. Next is Liz Gedashevsky, high school teacher, foreign language. Next, Sharon Oxnabad, middle school teacher, health at Kenton Rosette. Next, Deb Smith, elementary special ed teacher, Jefferson Elementary. Next, Dwayne Howley, elementary teacher, PE, Lincoln Elementary. Chuck Schramm, high school teacher, PE, Dekalb. Next is Carol Best, middle school teacher, special ed, Clinton Rosette. Not here tonight, but certainly want to recognize Lori Mondragon, district teacher, transitional bilingual education. Is Lori here? Next is Deb Ward, middle school teacher, PE, Huntley Middle School. Next is Lynette French, middle school media assistant, Clinton Rosette Middle School. We also have Carol Johnson, elementary instructional assistant at Cortland. I don't believe she's here tonight, but certainly want to recognize her. Julie Smith, elementary school office professional at Tyler. We have Peggy Terry, elementary school media assistant at Lincoln. We have Andy Talley, elementary school health assistant at Brooks. And finally, Cindy Gasser, middle school media assistant at Huntley Middle School. After Cindy, we'll let the board get seated and we'll open up the mic for anybody who would like to make comments related to any of our retirees. A lot of years of experience and a lot of probably stories. We do need to start at 7, however. So I'll leave the mic open for anybody who would like to speak. Mark?
All right, Dr. Hawk said legacy, so I'm going to start with Chuck Schramm. Chuck, actually, I'm just going to give you some of the vitals on Chuck. Chuck student taught here in 1981 under Mr. Art Bowman, which I'm sure there's a lot of stories, but probably not be appropriate for here. As you know, Chuck now has taught 20 years in the Dekalb School District, started in 1997. He was our boys' head basketball coach. He was an assistant golf coach, assistant track coach, assistant girls basketball. He had the most stipends in the district. Chuck Schrader. I'm also going to talk a little bit about John Cordes, who has been in the driver's ed department for the last 6 years full-time, 8 years altogether, and 17 years in the summer. So John's driven over 500 kids at his tenure at Dekalb High School. His hair was gray before he came into driver's ed. John was a 1978 graduate from Dekalb High School, a lifer here. He taught 5 years at Pecatonica, started teaching at Dekalb in 1989. He was our head boys basketball coach for 5 years. He coached football. His second play was always an extra point. You just asked about that. And he's been our golf coach for 23 years, head golf coach, 23 years, John Cordes.
Hi, I'm Diane Uslick. I retired 12 years ago. However, 25 years ago, I walked into a classroom at school, pretty anxious, because I had just been hired to teach third grade. I had no idea I would meet an energetic woman who would change my life. Nancy Carnahan graciously welcomed me into her classroom and into her life. She became the sister I never had. Nancy is the kindest, most encouraging, most conscientious, most professional person I have ever met. She carried these traits throughout her personal life and into her classroom. Our 13 years teaching together were some of the best years of my life. We built engaging, active classrooms of students together, and she taught me so much. Techniques for reading, literature circles, math skills and techniques, and especially how to keep a sense of humor. Nancy brought her warm, welcoming spirit to each child who entered her classroom. She encouraged her students to do their best and always demanded the same of herself. She sought out the best practices and methods to teach each child. Nancy was instrumental in the successful opening of Brooks Elementary under the principal Mary Haddon. She was the teacher with the open door, always ready to help the new teacher, the substitute, the aide, or the student teacher. Her wise counsel and experience supported so many staff members through the years, but it is the hundreds of students who passed through her classroom that remember her best. The caring smile, the firm hand, and the easy laugh. They will remember a teacher who cared, and I thank her from the bottom of my heart.
Do we have anyone else that would like to speak? Retirees or people representing retirees? Hello.
I just wanted to say a little bit about Colleen Schrader. Colleen Schrader has been teaching in the district for 29 years and 24 of those years at Little John Elementary. I first met Colleen when I started at Little John Elementary, and our classrooms didn't start across from each other, but for the last 5 years they were. And what a pleasant way to walk into school every day, to a warm smile, and a story almost every day about her 3 children who are very successful graduates of Dekalb High School. Kidding when I say that any single person could walk into Colleen's room and find anything that they needed because of the organizational skills that that lady has. So we will miss you tremendously. And then a little bit about Jana Hunt. I think I speak for many people in this room, as Jana has been here for 17 years. And she has worked at every single elementary except for Wright Elementary. And if you've ever stepped foot into an elementary school, you have seen the work of the students produced by her hanging on the walls, and it has been incredible. She really leaves a legacy behind with her work with the kids. And I think this year she told me that she sees 1,272 students and has been at over 1,200 students every year that she's been here. So an incredible job. Thanks.
I would just like to say a word about Ms. Gashevsky. She's our department head in foreign language. She's been the department head since 2002. It's a long time for us to have a mighty leader. Everybody in our department respects her so much that we've come to think of her as more than just our department head. So Liz, you thought you could get away from us by retiring. What she doesn't realize is we've been strategically moving into her neighborhood. So 9 years ago, I bought a house. One of our other, Mara Lynn, who retired, lives near us. Other people are eyeing property. So she can retire, she can get away from us at work, but we will find her, and she will continue to take care of us. So, nice try, Liz.
I guess as I came into this room this evening, I was so moved. I guess, well, I'm going to use Brent McIntosh as an example. When I started teaching at Little John 26 years ago, you were young. I look now, he has a beautiful family, and I realize the years have just trickled by. But I've been impacted by so many people in this room. I've had Victoria's children, they survived. Some of you have taught my children. I mean, we're all just so connected. But I think I've been so honored to work with such professionals. I've learned so much. And I think we know the quality of the people that make up the Dekalb 428 family. And I would just want to thank everyone. And as you go forward, just keep doing the good job. And I just want to salute everybody here tonight. So thank you so much.
Okay, Cindy and Deb. Let's start with you, Cindy. I just want to take a moment to recognize the work that Cindy has done coming in with the role of our one-to-one initiative in this district. Cindy, I think it is commended and should be noted that the work you've done, we could not have rolled out in Huntley without you. And continue that sustained effort there, but everything you do for all the kids. I mean, we have 850 kids coming in almost every period to see her for something or whatnot. And Cindy, thank you so much for everything you've done, helping me through all the testing that we have to get through, and taking care of our kids and our staff. Thank you very much for it. And Deb, this fall, I want to just sum everything about Deb, and I think this puts it in a good brief summary. This fall, I was walking through some of the PE classes outside, and I came across her class, and I said, "Hey, how's everything going?" They were having fun. They're like, "Oh, we're great." And I said, "So how's everything going with Miss Ward?" And about 8 of the kids, stopped to talk to me and said, "Miss Ward is like our mom, and she looks after us, and we really feel like she takes care of us." And I say that because I think that is the hallmark of great teaching, the relationships that you built, and it was very clear in those kids' eyes who you are and how important you are in their lives, and that speaks to what we do in education. And thank you for being a great example of that. Thank you both.
I was blessed to start my student teaching in Pam Bursky's room, and Camille Martha was in that room, and she taught me so much. I learned how to become organized with my reading groups and my math groups. And then she moved over to when we reopened up Portland. And she went over there and has been teaching 2nd grade for 31 years. She has always fostered the love for reading in her groups. She welcomed me in and said, "You know what? you're the resource teacher, but you don't always have to work with the resource kids. Why don't you take this group? And I got to work with some really amazing high readers too, and got to see where my kids could be. She's always sharing what she has. She shares her books and her passion for them. She's got a plethora of reading, and Piper, you're gonna benefit from all that reading. And she truly loves and nurtures all the children that walk through her door. We have children who come back to visit, and I'll ask, well, who are you gonna go see? And it's Mrs. Martha. So Camille, we're gonna miss you.
I would like to speak on behalf of a couple of staff members who I've had the great honor of working with. Deb Smith, as a special ed teacher in Jefferson School. Deb was and continues to be an integral part of the climate and culture of Jefferson School. She's been the PBIS coach forever. And not only that, she holds so many other roles that really it just does keep the life of Jefferson just so alive. So thank you for all of your hard work, Deb. It's been a pleasure working with you. And then I want to also speak about Jean Searles. Jean Searles, as a first grade teacher, Jean, you truly understand how to collaboratively teach. You walk into Jean's classroom and she has all these students in so many different activities all at one time with probably 3-4 adults integrated into that like the ELA classroom. And truly, I wish I could somebody said, how do you define collaboration? I take a picture of Jean Searles' classroom. You're an amazing, amazing teacher, and I'm so glad I've had the pleasure of working with you. Dwayne Cowley, where are you? Dwayne, we had a lot of fun. You have to, and you showed children how to have a lot of fun and be safe doing it in PE. And I think my favorite memory is our memories of Timberlake. When we, and that's what kids will remember as well, that you went above and beyond, and to show them what it should be like to be a friend to each other. So thank you for all of your efforts.
Anyone else before we move into the business meeting? Just have to say, from my limited experience here in Dekalb 428, the community owes every one of you retirees a great debt. You have given a great deal, and your legacy again will live long, long, long. So congratulations, keep up the good work.
Sí, muerto.
Try this over the noise. All right, we have public comment. Members of the public who wish to speak to the board. Is this public comment?
Members of the public who wish to speak to the board should complete a request card prior to the meeting. This section of the meeting will be reserved for comments from the public. All comments should be limited to 3 minutes. Criticism of individuals is not in order. Next is board committee reports and correspondence.
Oh, we have little microphones. The insurance committee met a week and a half ago. And, there are some, loss ratio issues in our policies that are going to drive the premiums up significantly. The policy renews at the end. The benefits department wants to, do some consolidating of the 2 HMO plans and merging the 2 PPO plans and introducing a savings account for our employees so that the plans are significantly different from each other. The HMO plans, there's one employee family and plans. And the cost to the employees between the 2 plans is negligible. And the 2 PPO plans, the same thing, just offers a PPO is $750 deductible, $1,700 deductible. And the difference in the premium between the 2 deductibles is enticing anyone to move to the $1,700 level. And then the idea is to have an HSA plan introduced for employees. And this is going to take some educational part of the benefits department because it's a new concept of tax benefits and premium benefits for our employees, but in order to understand the nuances of that, that's going to probably need to start really soon.
Okay, next we have approval of board minutes. Approval of board minutes from the regular meeting 4/18/17, closed session 4/18/17, special meeting 4/20/17, closed session 4/20/17, special meeting 4/27/17, and closed session 4/27/17. And this is an action item. That the Board of Education approve the board minutes from the workshop meeting 4/18/17 and closed session 4/18/17, special meeting 4/20/17 and closed session 4/20/17, special meeting 4/27/17 and closed session 4/27/17. Do I have a motion? Any discussion?
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Next, we have the official proclamation of the winners of the April 4th, 2017 election. This is an action item that the Board of Education approve the abstract votes from the office of the county clerk and declare Jeff Hallman, Valerie Pena Hernandez, and Victoria Newport winners of the April 4th, 2017 election. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Roll call, please. Yes.
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 Yes. Yes. Yes.
Next, we have presentation of awards of merit. This is a recognition that the Board of Education will present awards of merit to outgoing board members in favor and Mary Hess with appreciation for the distinguished and unselfish service given to the Board of Education, the community, and the students of Dekalb School District 428. Adjourn Sunday day. Do I have a motion? All right. Roll call.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
I do this one. Nomination of President Pro Tempore. A, this is an action item, that the Board of Education appoint interim superintendent. Dr. Hawk is the president pro tem.
So moved. Second. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay, thank you. I would like to ask new board members to please come up and take your seat. Mr. Jack Holgren, Ms. Valerie Peña Hernandez. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, I will now like to swear in the newly elected members of the school board. And you should have a script there to follow along. So we have three new board members, or two new board members and one, but would have all of the board members also follow along on the script. So the oath of office. And again, if you would stand. I, please state your name. Jeff Holgren.
I, Valerie Peña.
Do solemnly swear or affirm that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of a member of the Board of Education of Dekalb Community Unit School District 428 in accordance with the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Illinois, and the laws of the State of Illinois to the best of my ability. I further swear or affirm that, and again I will ask each of you to say I will, I shall respect taxpayer interests by serving as a faithful protector of the school district's assets. I will.
I will.
I shall encourage and respect the free expression of opinion by my fellow board members and others who seek a hearing before the board while respecting the privacy of students and employees. I will.
I will. I will.
I shall recognize that a board member has no legal authority as an individual and that decisions can be made only by a majority vote at a public board meeting. I will.
I will. I will.
And finally, I shall abide by majority decisions of the board while retaining the right to seek changes in such decisions through ethical and constructive channels. I will.
I will. I will.
Congratulations. Let's give them a big round of applause. So now that we have new board members seated, we will now have election of officers. Nominations are now open. The offices are president, vice president, and secretary of the board, as well as board clerk and treasurer. We will ask for those to be filled as well. So first of all, nominations are now in order for the office of president. No second is needed.
I'd like to nominate Victoria Newport for president of the school.
Is there a second? Is there someone else who would like to nominate? So Victoria Newport is nominated. Again, are there any other nominations? After a nomination is received, the board pro tem should pause, which I did. Are there any further nominations? And then ask for roll call.
Yes.
Dekalb.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Okay. Next, to fill the role of vice president. Are there nominations for vice president? Oh,
Nominate Fred Davis, vice president.
any other nominees? Hearing none, nominations are closed. Melissa, would you read the roll?
Yes.
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 And finally, secretary of the board. Is there a nomination? Fred.
I'd like to nominate Howard Solomon.
Howard Solomon. Is there any other nominations from the group? If not, nominations are closed. Please have the roll.
Yes.
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 Next, we have the appointment of the board clerk. This is an action item that the Board of Education appoint Melissa Smith as the board clerk of the Board of Education. Do we have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Next, we have the appointment of the board treasurer. And this is an action item that the Board of Education appoints Cynthia Carpenter as the treasurer of the Board of Education. Do we have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Roll call, please.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Next up is presentations.
Okay.
Next, we have presentations, and this is an insurance update, WL Benefits Group, and this is for discussion and information.
I'm thinking about presentations. Is there anyone that doesn't have copies?
Sure.
Oh, this is an extra. My name is Louise Meyer. I'm with WL Benefits. We just started as the new benefits administrator this year. And what we've been trying to do is, get it louder? I've never been told. Hey, how's that? Okay, what we've been working towards is getting everything automated, streamlined, and making things simpler for the employees. So what we've done this year, started in January, we started an online enrollment process, and some people have gone through it. We had open enrollment, and then after open enrollment, we started live files to all of the carriers to streamline the process and improve the data. feel like I'm too loud. Okay, so now ongoing, what we're trying to do is improve the carrier's billing to each of or to the finance department. So as of February, your HR department has let us know that the bills are coming back more accurate than they have been in the past, which is obviously great. That means things are getting updated and added accordingly. So now our goals are to improve the benefits ongoing. So we are looking at making some changes, improving the website, improving the benefits offered, and improving improving all the information that's available to the employees. So education online, helping in that process. Any questions?
Anything you want to add, Ben? We've had, like I said, I can speak to the cost savings through the reconciliation of the billing. That was a big thing that we've struggled with in the past that has definitely been under control for these last several months under the watch of the helping us manage that, keeping those billing us appropriately for what the employees are being accounted for. So I can definitely speak to that.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is the non-business consent agenda. That the Board of Education approve non-business consent agenda items A through D. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Any discussion?
Victoria?
Yeah.
I've had a question about the approval of leasing conditional driver's ed car. In the back of the material, it seems to say that the cost is not fully known. Is that still the case?
Yes, but there's a cost per car. They just haven't been able to get hold of Sycamore Auto too. But there's a certain cost per vehicle. It will be the same as we're paying now.
Okay, so the cost is not.
There will be no increase.
No, it's not to exceed the current, okay, fine.
And consistent, again, for the additional students taking summer drivers that, that's the need for the extra vehicle.
Again, you approved an additional person in the afternoon driving previously, so that you car.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Roll call?
Ray Davis?
Yes.
Jeff Alder?
Yes.
Jerry Moore?
Yes.
Victoria Newport?
Yes.
Alexander Hernandez?
Yes.
Rick Smith?
Yes.
Howard Thomas?
Yes.
Next is new business administration. This is student services, TOSA, extra summer days, Christy Meyer, and this is an informational item. Oh, I did skip. Okay. Business and finance. Life safety amendment approvals, Ms. Tammy Carson, and this is an informational item.
Please.
As we've been looking at the various budget items, one of the things that we've identified as the projects such as the Lincoln HVAC project has been put on hold is that there is some life safety funding that could be available and used for life safety projects that were identified when the 10-year life safety survey was conducted in 2015. These are violations that our architect identified and must be corrected between a 1 and a 5 year time span, and that clock did start ticking in 2015. We brought that information, I brought that information to the board back in 2015 with plans to get this work done over those 5 years. And at the time, we weren't sure exactly where the funding would come from because we didn't have 5 years to complete. Excuse me, my recommendation at this point is to use life safety funding to complete the remaining violations that need to be corrected in that 5 year time frame, rather than using operations and maintenance budget to do that. And the amendments are out on what is called IWAS and needs approval by our superintendent before we can proceed with that, which requires board approval. The additional life safety amendment that has been added is for the lead in the water testing. Again, that was also something I brought forward for O&M, but now that we are not moving forward with the Lincoln project, life safety funding can be used to pay for the life safety test, the lead in the water testing, as well as any potential remediation that's identified from the testing. But at this point, we're just looking to get the testing costs approved through the life safety budget. Any remaining funding can stay in the life safety budget after we finish these projects. Our goal would be to, with approval, complete these projects over the summer. And then we would be done with that chapter of the 10-year life safety amendments. And we could move forward and not have to be concerned of having to use operations and maintenance budget to do those in the future 3 years that are remaining.
Questions for Jamie?
And before, and if somebody knows about Senate Bill 550, whether there's any sort of funding considered in that legislation.
In regards to funding provided to schools to fulfill it,
Yeah.
for the water. It's an unfunded mandate. It is, and all of our buildings, with the exception of the high school in Portland, all of our elementaries are required to be tested. This year, Brooks, we could wait another year, but I will be coming back to the board later in May or possibly June with the proposals from at least 3 different companies for the lead in the water testing and some various options for the board to consider in regards to that testing.
So it says here that December 31st is the date required to complete the testing, which you just said Brooks could wait.
Yes, based on the age of that building, it can be, wait 1 more year, but it's cost prohibitive to bring the contractor back for 1 building next year. The cost projections, it just would not be worth it. I would recommend and will be recommending that we do all the required buildings plus Brooks this year.
Do you or anybody know that if something negative or expensive is found during the testing, is there any thought in that language or how to bill with regard to remediation?
What we have is we have the option to retest, because sometimes through retesting that the test results do differ. And so that is one option. And in regards to what we have to do to remediate, we have to remediate to the level that it's under, the results come in at less than 5 parts per billion in the test results, whatever that takes, or shut down that water source, so that it's not available to our students any longer.
So, one more thing, Judge. So as well as being an unfunded mandate to test, it's also apparently unfunded for remediation.
That is correct.
I have a question.
Tammy, the budget is being shifted. We're doing this from now the life safety budget. Are there adequate funds in that budget to accomplish all you want to accomplish?
Absolutely. We actually have approximately $300,000 available right now. After July 1st, there'll be another $600,000. And then after July 1st of next year, another $600,000. And if you recall, we talked about the Lincoln HVAC project. And so the majority of that, with the exception of the new chiller costs, because those do not qualify for life safety, assuming no unexpected expenses such as a roof collapse or something like that, we would have the life safety funding available to come back and propose the Lincoln project next summer to the board.
That's a question. In regard to, I was sat in on that facilities meeting, finance facilities meeting, and the question was raised there if we could double up or tie into City of Dekalb doing this same thing. In other words, not duplicate effort. Has that been looked into it at all as to whether it would be double up or have any kind of connection with them?
I have spoken with the City of Dekalb. Their testing has been done and it's part of their ongoing testing. So they aren't looking to retest as we will be testing for the first time. They did provide me with some options for the contractors and the labs they use. So that's pretty much.
So really just informational sharing.
Exactly.
So they're done, they've already done this, and got results on it. So the question is, Did they have to do remediation at all? And did they have, in their testing, did they find high levels of lead in the testing that they found at City of Dekalb?
Not that I am aware of, but I honestly can't speak on that to say for sure.
It's share the same water.
Exactly. I'm sure if there was any level that was high, they would have had to remediate immediately, again, or shut the source down. And if something was shut down, I'm sure we would have reported on that.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I have just a little comment on that. I mean, most of the time it's about the distribution of piping and leaches the water, leaches out the lead from that piping. City of Dekalb already does a tremendous amount of water treatment for radium and other contaminants. And so I would expect them to have a big problem as long as their distribution system is in good shape. So I imagine that's what we're looking at, really, is the distribution system in our buildings across the district.
Absolutely.
From the main on report our property.
Exactly. Exactly. That's what we're
So
looking at.
that was just a technical point that I was curious about. Here's another thing about policy wise. What's our policy as far as life safety money? As to how much we can reserve? Do we have a policy on that, just as we have with the education fund and we have 15-25%? So there is no, perhaps we should have one, I suggest, particularly because who knows what they'll come up with next. This is an unfunded mandate. This is probably generated by the property ownership and perhaps other places. And the deeper people look, the more they will find. There are a lot of things on infrastructure nationwide.
And that our goal would be that we would be able to continue to build the life safety budget. In my 5 years in the position, we need to use that life safety budget for boiler replacements, primarily is what it's been used for. And going forward, once we complete the Lincoln boiler replacement, there aren't any other significant concerns in the boilers that are remaining in the district, but then we move into roofs.
Yeah.
And we'll be looking at roof replacements, which are typically life safety funded.
So I'd like to suggest that the board consider a policy, that would undertake the idea of setting aside a percentage, as we do with larger amount of money that we set aside for general operations, to accommodate these kinds of legislative surprises. We have a very nice package of work to be done, that we prioritize and that we set money aside for and plan for. But the things that are out of our realm of jurisdiction, and yet they're put on us by the state. So it would be wise for us to consider.
Is that something you could look into, or maybe look at past history of unfunded mandates that we could use, and then maybe we come up with a percentage?
And in this is a restricted so projects, and you have to actually qualify to be out of this. We can't arbitrarily choose which one is one. Yes.
Do we have a consensus what to bring this back as an action item for what Tammy's discussing tonight?
Yes. Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have telephone service, voice over internet protocol. And this is a vendor change, and this is an information item.
I'll actually be speaking to this.
Oh, okay.
Hello. All right, so with our E-rate funding, there's a certain period of time in which we can put in various items to be E-rate funded. And in terms of voice services, we only see a 20% discount on those services with E-rate. It used to be 80%, it has shifted to 20%, and then they've shifted 80% towards things like hardware costs and stuff like that. So us as an entity, as well as a lot of other school districts, are looking to reduce the cost of their phone services. And one of the best options when we went out to bid was Comcast, who is willing to provide us a deciduous line of fiber that does not follow our other fiber paths. So if, for an instance, if there was construction and it got trunked out or something like that, it should not bring down our phone system. It'd be a separate pair of fiber from the rest of the fiber that comes into the building. We'd be looking at saving close to $1,000 a month by moving to this service. It would reduce our costs over a 5-year term by close to $60,000. So it's my recommendation that we move forward at working with Comcast and SIP trunks.
Questions for them?
As far as reliability, is there any knowledge of one company over another in terms of reliability?
Yeah, so we looked at that. Some of the other vendors that were close, were not as cheap as Comcast. We're providing a service called PRI on top, which is not as reliable as SIP, because it actually goes over the same fiber that you already have, and it goes over your internet access. So if you end up hitting a peak on your internet access, you can actually end up cutting into your phone services. So most of your phone services need about 5 to 6 meg, which isn't a whole lot, but if you end up having peaks, you could end up cutting off phone calls. And as well as we've traditionally done PRI, which is like physical ISDN connections in 2 different locations with load balancing in between. So if one gets full, it flops over to the other. And we've had 2 large outages for extended periods of time in Frontier, as the region has had. So our hope is that, yes, this will be more reliable, especially as it being a line of fiber and more up-to-date technology than what we've been working with.
Any other questions? Do we have a consensus to bring this back?
Yes.
Thanks. Next, we have approval of purchase order requisitions, and this is an action item. That the Board of Education approve the attached purchase order requisitions. Do we have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Jeff Aldrin,
I abstain from this.
Terry Black,
Yes.
Victoria Newport,
Yes.
Valerie Green Hernandez,
I have.
Rick Smith,
Yes.
Howard Feldman,
Yes.
Fred Davis.
Yes.
Okay, next we have new business administration. Student Services TOSA, extra summer days, and this is an informational item. Ms. Christy Meyer.
Good evening. I'm coming to you this evening with 3 different proposals. The first one is for TOSA, which is our teacher on special assignment, who works as a coordinator for student services. As a teacher, she follows the teacher contract. So each year I come to you and I ask you if you would extend her contract to include 20 additional days. That would be 5 days directly after the school year gets out, 5 floating days for summer work that we'll be doing through the summer, and then 10 days prior to the start of the year. During that time, we work on program development. She is a coordinator for a number of our elementary schools, and so we need additional program development in that area. She will be working on special service, student service projects such as a rubric for our SOL programming, and she is also instrumental in preparing our professional development for next year. So that's the first request. Any questions?
Christy, is this in line with last summer's hours?
Yes, it is. All 3 of these are. So they are currently already in the budget from last year. How?
You mentioned things like a rubric.
Yes.
I've found from time to time that those are actually pretty much available publicly in some sets of circumstances. I want to make sure this is not one of them.
This is not one of them. This is specific to our specialized program, which is for students with very global intensive needs. So yeah, this is special to our programs. We have.
And nobody else has students like this that hasn't already, that's already done this work, so that we could potentially tap into what another district does, or
We always look at what other districts do in order to springboard our work. We already have some really great foundational work done in this area already, but we just need to formalize it. We've done this for a number of our other programs. For example, we recently, this year, as of the work that we did last summer, we did a target rubric, and that's for our students who are in our target program, which serves students with emotional disabilities. We also did one for our intensive programs, which serves students that have intensive academic need. So these are self-contained programs, and it's what we have found in the buildings is that this work with the rubric work has really helped us do a better job of identifying students who would benefit from these more specialized programming. Yeah. Any other questions?
Is there a consensus to bring this back as an action item? All right.
Thank you.
Next, we have additional high school counseling summer hours, and this is also the C.
Yes.
Action item.
Okay, just like the last one, I'm coming to you with another proposal from our high school counselors. Our high school counselors each summer, each time, spring at this time, I'll be coming to you and requesting that they have summer hours. They are also on the teacher's contract, so what we're doing is asking the board to consider an extension of their hours into the summer. They, during that time, they take care of scheduling conflicts, they adjust course selections, and they schedule new students. These are all tasks that they cannot do during the school year. These are tasks that must happen during the summer. So they do get paid an extension of their contract for these hours. And the good work of the Business and Finance Department last year did take a look at many of our comparable districts so that we can make sure that we are in line with other districts and the number of days or hours that they have asked for. The counseling department here has also done a really great job of keeping track of all the hours that they do use each summer. And if you look in your packet and the information, you'll see that even though we are paying them for 90 hours, they truly are using more hours than that. They are working more hours. So we thank them for their service. And certainly the high school students are better prepared to start the year day one.
Questions?
Christie, can any of the hours be lessened through the use of contact at other less busy times of the semester or of the school year?
No, Howard, that wouldn't work because here's an example. They cannot do some of the adjustments in the schedules until they know if students have passed or failed classes. So that happens after all the grades are input, so that has to happen during the summer. That's one example. Another example is they have to take into account any hours that they have earned through the summer school, then adjust schedules after that. And then there are several students, as you know, several students start we don't know of, and they come to us during the summer, and then our counselors take care of that. So honestly, this would be cheaper for us to go this route than comp time.
I understand the need to have this work done for the summer.
Yeah.
What I'm questioning is whether there are times when during the regular school year, things get a little bit more slack and some of the hours that were worked during the summer can be utilized
Oh.
and paid for by hours at other times.
I follow what you're saying. Thank you, Howard. Okay. Now I'm looking out here at any of our high school administrators, but I can attest, and I see them back there, we can attest that these counselors do not have any slack time during their school year.
That is correct.
So I hear what you're saying, and you're being terrific, you're being very efficient, but there really isn't any time in their schedule that we can carve out to keep it open for the summer work. Good thought, though. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it seems to be able to have discussions on this counselor topic and hours work and so on. there was discussion about students that come to us from other districts, and that often they come to us without any information, no transcript, no information. And in past conversations that we've asked the question, is there anything we can do about that? So I'm asking now, have we been able to do anything about that? Have we continued to try to get information from the schools from which they come?
We always try.
Okay.
We never give up. We always try. But in the meantime, we cannot wait sometimes. The time frame that they come in, and then we need to assess and then get them into classes. Sometimes we're not afforded that time to wait for, I'll just pick a Chicago public school system for us to get their records.
So they're basically, I think you're saying it's not cost effective, and that some of the school systems are still not providing information that goes with the child. And so therefore, our counselors have to redo the work that probably should have been done at the previous location. Is that correct? That way of thinking?
Not fully. I think that we have made our systems more efficient, that when students do come in, we have figured out efficient ways to determine their present levels, what they might have had, and then place them accordingly. Plus, we have like a scripted course selections that we know a student who comes in who's going to be a sophomore should take, and we start there. Okay, so there's, and okay, so we work around that.
Okay, let me ask this question of us, because we can know what we do. So when a child leaves our district and goes to Rochelle, goes to Genoa, or goes to wherever,
yes,
does that child leave with a transcript, with a packet of information that would let the next school know at what level academically they were performing?
So what happens, Carrie, is that a family goes to the Rochelle and says, we're moving here, and Rochelle contacts us, very easily contacts us. We don't have to wait for snail mail anymore. They easily contact us, and we get a release of records from, we fill out, the parent releases the records, and we send those records right away. And again, we can do that in the day's time. And our registrar at the high school, Bonnie Stellato, has been with us many years and is very efficient, very efficient. She gets it done. It's hard too, because there's students coming and going every, I'd say probably 3 days out of the week, coming and going.
Any other questions? Do we have a consensus to bring this back? Yes. No more, Christie, thank you. Middle school summer work for middle school counselors, and this is an information item.
Again, like last spring, I came to you and said that the middle school counselors and some of the good folks at the middle school work together to get some of the tasks done that must be done during the summer as well. And so we also need to extend their contract for additional hours. Some of those hours, as you see in your packet, are at the $25 an hour rate because they're more project-based. Other hours for our middle school counselors are at the per diem rate, and that is because what they're doing is they are extending the work that they typically do during the school year into the summer. So we need to acknowledge that they are extending that contractual work. So the tasks that they do, one is web, and may I impose upon you, Tim, to explain web?
So web is a transition program that we use for 6th graders. Involves 8th grade mentors that get hooked up with 6th grade groups. They work with them during the 6th grade orientation prior to school starting. What that requires is 8th graders to be trained over the course of the summer leading up to that, and then obviously perform the orientation duties. It's a student-only event. That's specifically the training for the hour that has to be done over the summer. Web then continues throughout the year just to continue the smooth transition of the 6th graders.
Okay, the second task that they do is they gather not only the counselors, but some of our other support staff and teachers get together and plan advisory. Tom, would you like to speak to that?
So in both middle schools, advisory run once a week. It's part of our social emotional goal meeting. And so the program is designed and the curriculum is worked on over the summer, just like the teachers in core department areas work on their curriculum over the summer. This is part of our curriculum as well, and it's the work that's led to meet their needs, social emotional learning standards.
And lastly, the piece that I said was an extension of their contract is welcoming new families and making sure they're getting into the classes that they need to have and getting them set to start day one, and that's the role of a counselor. So those are the three tasks for our middle school counselors. Questions?
How many hours? How many counselors?
In the packet there, it is all mapped out. It depends on that we have 5 counselors. Okay, and so depending on which one of these tasks that they're doing, they've asked for specific, and they mapped it out very well as to how many. In total, it would be around 90 and 75. Sure. Dollars, not hours.
What you're proposing or asking for now, is that in proportion with respect to population change in the district? So we spent X dollars last year for X number of jobs, and same thing this year, and how does it match up to that?
It's exactly the same as it was last year. Mm-hmm.
Exactly the same.
Yep.
Have we had an increase or decrease in student population?
I would say
There is an increase in overall population. The summer, the per diem hours that you see, the 15 general summer hours, are mostly for new student tours, so that it does vary from year to year, but it's over the trend is essentially the same as far as the new students that come to the district. And then as far as advisory and web hours, those are not determined. While the number of web leaders, 8th grade web leaders change, and then the amount of training that needs to take place, that's not enrollment reliant at all.
Is there a threshold, you might say, above which you would need additional hours, additional personnel involved? I mean, it's like a classroom can hold X number of kids.
The only thing
that now you open
sure.
the web section.
The only thing that I can see is if we had an enormous amount of move-ins over the summer from outside of school districts that was really just outside of what we typically see every year. We did see a lot of that, and it didn't really change. When we redistricted, there was obviously a lot of students that fell into that 15 hours per counselor category at either school. And even with that bump in new students, it stayed at 15 that year as well. So I would, with very few exceptions, I can't see how it would be different depending on enrollment.
So if the demographics don't change greatly, then you would expect this cost to remain more or less constant?
Yes.
correct.
Thank you.
Unless there's a change in per hour rate.
Per hour.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Do you have a consensus to bring this back?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Christie. Next, we have the approval of letter of agreement with the Federation of Dekalb Office Support Professionals, and this is an action item. That the Board of Education approve letter of agreement number 5 with the Federation of Dekalb Office Support Professionals. Do we have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All right, roll call please.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Abstain.
Next, we have approval of board meeting dates and times for the remainder of the 2016-2017 school year. This is an action item. That the Board of Education approve the board meeting dates, times for the remainder of the 2016-2017 school year. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, warning for our new members. These are the regular meetings, folks. This year, we've had a lot of special meetings. Maybe not so much next year, I know, maybe not next year.
Roll call.
Yes.
Ray David,
Yes.
Jeff Albright,
Yes.
Gary Malata,
Yes.
Victoria Newport,
Yes.
Valerie Hernandez,
Yes.
Ray Smith.
Yes.
Next, we have approval of Board of Education meeting schedule for the 2017-2018 school year. This is an action item that the Board of Education approve the board meeting schedule for the 2017-2018 school year as attached. Do we have a motion?
Second.
Any discussion? Yes.
This doesn't mean that, that the location is set though, right?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah.
It's at the education center unless otherwise posted. Is that correct?
Yep.
Roll call then?
Ray Smith,
Yes.
Howard Zolman,
Yes.
Ray David,
Yes.
Jeff Albright,
Yes.
Gary Malata,
Yes.
Victoria Newport,
Yes.
Valerie Hernandez.
Yes.
And with that, the meeting will be adjourned. All in favor?
Aye.